Hello, welcome to BAB Walk. My name is Apinan Poshyananda.
My name is Chomwan Weeraworawit.
So welcome, and today we will be visiting two sites for BAB Walk, which is the Prelude and BAB Box. So please come with us. Now we're in the room for the works by Prof. And he's one of the artists who has been commissioned to do special works and research related to Dusit Thani, which is like an imagined world, utopian world, dream city.
Wow.
That was created during the times of King Weeraworawit. What do you think of these paintings?
Do I think, well, at first sight, I think I was quite stunned that there was an imaginary city that was built in the 1920s, in the reign of King Ram VI, then discovering that the city was called Dusit Thani, and it was this utopian exercise, as you describe it, and then to see the map of the city and, you know, the different elements that went into this imaginary world is just really remarkable, because it seems like all the things that we're concerned with today, you know, notions of democracy and freedom and everything, but in this room there's something that's been contemplated about it long before us.
Yes, and Prateep actually went to research at the library of King Weeraworawit, and all these blueprints and all the miniature buildings, he studied at length, and he tried to reinterpret what was going on and the definitions in those days regarding to democracy and constitution.
And this miniature city, like how miniature was it?
So the size is about 1 to 20. So it was actually built on that piece of land in Dusit Palace.
I see.
And then it was moved to Phayatthai Palace. So in those days, people had to discuss the idea of how to run a city.
Right.
So it was like a good exercise whereby the ruler was looking into the future, and this exercise became a discussion, debate.
Right.
This city had all kinds of buildings, palace, temples, houses, markets. They even have their daily newspaper called Dusit Recorder. So in this way, it was very, very advanced.
And then what are these here?
So these are the paintings that Prateep created from photographs that he found in the library. Of course, there were black and white photographs, but he actually enlarged them.
Oh, I see.
So that's a palace, that's the structures of the houses. So in this way, it relates to the space of One Bangkok also. Right. Whereby, the city that's going to be built in this area, it's also a kind of a utopian city of today. Yeah. And it's about different kinds of eclecticism. The different kinds of architecture selected. Many styles from European styles are also mixed with Chinese styles. But Prateep also not only look at the past in the 1918s or 1920s, but he also reverted to the time of when Thailand was trying to cope with communism and the communist parties that were having many people in the times of Prem Tinasulanonda. There was a time when they were asked to come out from the jungle,
right.
And villages were created in Isan area to accommodate them. And for example, he uses the plan of Yasothon village as a place to compare with the kind of another kind of imagined city,
right.
In contrast of what was going on in the Dusit Thani.
So the grid-like kind of planning that we see for this village is based somehow on these ideas, right?
But not directly, but he's just trying to compare the use of grids.
Right, of use of grids.
Yeah, but these grids you can see, cars, driving, people moving. So it's like a kind of, we are seeing it from the bird's eye view.
This is surveillance.
Yeah, it's surveillance. So he contrasts beautifully the way people plan cities. whether it be in the times of King Weeraworawit or in the times of the Isan area where during the communist insurgents were being asked to come out to live in Yasothon, or even the kind of city that we are living here today or in the future where One Bangkok will be. So the adjacent room, now we are at the work of Yukan Charuya, Japanese artist who was born in Okinawa but now living in Berlin. So he plays with monopoly money. So this is a kind of imagined world where exchange in terms of imagined values, in this case the game of monopoly. He also plays with the idea of the changing world that affects stock markets, bonds, ways of life, and very much again in relation to what's going on today.
What is that?
This is the model he made of the new parliament, the new Thai parliament. Sapaya Satha Sathan, which he takes the map of Chapaya River, and this is the structure of the new Thai parliament. And he wants to talk about again how politics becomes the place, in this case the new Thai parliament, where discussion, debate in terms of politics is made and affects the future of Thailand. And of course he wants to relate this to the idea of what's going on today. He compares Okinawa as an island in the periphery of Japan and has been colonized through the ages, especially the American base. And he compares with Thailand, Bangkok, and these two places, how it's affected by the superpowers. For example, during the election of the President of the United States, he uses this idea of how politics can be discussed in places like the bar. So we'll see in the next stop where we go, he uses the idea of the white spirits, the alcohol.
I think it's wonderful that these two pieces are here in the Prelude, because what it speaks about in terms of this idea of utopia, this idea of creation, and control, but also exchange and the impact that the exchange that we've had with outside of Thailand has had on us over the course of history. I think it's
Okay, let's go to the next stop.